Hare Krishna. So we'll begin with our prayers. Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamahyam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamshya Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sahagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजना सहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान् सहगणा ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्णा करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धु जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिका कान्त राधा कान्त नमोस्तुते तप्त कांचन गौरांगी राधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये वाञ्छाकल्पतरुभ्यश्च कृपा सिन्धुभ्य एव च पतितानां पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः नमो विष्णुपादाय कृष्णपृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदान्त स्वामी नितिनामिने नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि गौर भक्त वृंद हरे कृष्णा 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Hare Krishna, so welcome everyone. Today we are starting the fourth canto of Srimad Bhagavatam. So, fourth canto is called as Visarga. So, there are 10 topics of Srimad Bhagavatam: Sarga, Visarga, Sthan, Poshan, Uti, Manvantar, Ishanukatha, Nirodh, Mukti, and Ashraya. So, Sarga means the primary creation by Brahmaji, by Supreme Lord. And Visarga means secondary creation of Brahma. So this fourth canto is entitled as the secondary creation. Visarga. कितना temperature है? पता नहीं प्रभु जी चालू है बंद. इतने करता. So in this, Maitreya, he in 21st chapter of the third canto, Vidurji requested Maitreya Muni to speak about the dynasty of Swayambhuva Manu. And he first described the second daughter of Swayambhuva Manu. So Swayambhuva Manu had 5 children, 3 daughters and 2 sons. So 3 daughters were Akuti, Prasuti, and Devahuti. So Akuti was the eldest, then Devahuti, then Prasuti. And 2 sons, Uttanpad and Priyavrat. So Devahuti was described, her marriage with Kardam Muni was described. And then the family life, how Devahuti, she had a son, Kapiladev. And the teachings of Kapiladev were described in the third canto, last 7 chapters. But the descendants of Devahuti's daughters were not described. So in this first chapter of the fourth canto, Maitreya Muni starts by describing the lineage of the daughters of Devahuti and also the other 2 daughters, Akuti and Prasuti. They are also described in this canto, first chapter. So in this fourth canto, there are 31 chapters. And there is a description of Visarga. Visarga means what was created by Brahmaji and Manus. So Brahmaji, he had first created Kumaras. Then he ordered them to procreate. They said, no, we'll stay Brahmachari. Hum log nahi karenge shadi. So then Brahma became angry. And as a result, Rudra appeared from the middle of the eyebrows. He started creating all ferocious progenies. Rather than helping in creation, they started destroying the creation. So then Brahma told Shivji, Rudra, you go to forest, you do tapasya. When your service is needed, we'll call you. So then Shivji went, Rudra went to do tapasya. Then again Brahmaji created the 10 sages headed by Marichi and also many others. But they were also creating, but the creation was not happening fast because they were prominently in the mode of goodness. They were not so much inclined to procreation. So then, as Brahma was contemplating, a male and female form appeared from the body of Brahma. And who were they? Swayambhu Manu and Shatarupa. And then they started creating. They started begetting children. So 5 sons, 5 children, 3 sons, 3 daughters, 2 sons. So in the first chapter, Manu and the daughters of Manu, their dynasty, they are described. And then after describing the daughters of Prasuti, Maitreya Muni said Prasuti had 16 daughters. 16th one had no son, no child. And who was she? Sati. So then Maitreya Muni asks, Vidurji asks a question, how is it that Sati had no child? So then the 6 chapters goes on and description of Daksha Yagya. So then after this, Maitreya Muni starts the description of the sons of Uttanpad, sons of Swayambhu Manu. First son was Uttanpad. So first son was Priyavrat, but he describes Uttanpad. And in the dynasty of Uttanpad, who was the son of Uttanpad? Dhruv Maharaj. So then 5 chapters describe Dhruv Maharaj. And then after that, in the dynasty of Dhruv Maharaj, there was a great king, Prithu Maharaj. His story is described in the 8 chapters, in the 11 chapters. And then the dynasty of Prithu Maharaj, there was one other personality, Prachetas, 9 Prachetas. So their story is described in 8 chapters. So this is how the 31 chapters of the 4th canto are. So we'll begin the first chapter. So Srila Prabhupada, in his purport to the first verse, he offers obeisances to his gurus, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur. By his orders, he started writing purports. Prabhupada writes that by his grace, we have finished 3 cantos already, and we are just trying to begin the 4th canto. So he's writing the 4th canto. So therefore, he offers obeisances to his guru, to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, to Goswamis, to Radha Krishna, and all the devotees of the Lord. So Srila Prabhupada, why he is doing this? Because Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur also offers his obeisances to various devotees, various people. He offers his obeisances to his guru, and he offers obeisances to Krishna and to Shukdev Goswami. So following the line, Prabhupada also offers obeisances. So then Manu's second daughter was Devahuti. Devahutika family was not described. She had 9 daughters and Kapila, 1 son. Okay, so she had 9 daughters and 1 son, Kapila Dev. So the dynasty of the daughters were not described. So in this chapter, first, Maitreya Muni describes the family of Akuti because she was the eldest, then Devahuti, and then Prasuti. So that's how he continues in this chapter. So 15th chapter, okay, so we just described that, the whole story we described. So the first verse, he says, Manos tu. Manos tu, the tu word is, Prabhupada and Chakravarti Thakur elaborates. He says that why the word tu is used? Because Brahmaji had many sons. Out of them, Manu is prominent. Why? Because he was a great devotee of the Lord. Therefore, his family is described in the 3rd canto, 13th chapter, when Vidurji asks Maitreya about Swayambhu Manu. He also says that Charitam Tasya Rajarsher Adi Rajasya Sattamaha Bruhi Me Shraddadhanaya Vishwaksena Ashrayo Hyasav. Oh Maitreya Muni, please tell us about the character and the life of Adiraj. Who is Adiraj? Swayambhuva Manu. Why? What is so special? Because Vidurji is a renunciant and Maitreya Muni is renunciant. Two renunciants are discussing the household life of a king. So it doesn't make sense. But the reason is Vishwaksena Ashraya Asau. Vishwaksena is Krishna. Because Swayambhu Manu is a great devotee of the Lord, that's why I want to hear about his glories. So Prabhupada also writes, Brahma had many sons, but Manu's name is mentioned first because he was a great devotee of the Lord. And Krishna Katha and Vaishnava Katha, they are both equally powerful. In fact, in Bhagavatam, we hear Vaishnava Katha more. There are so many devotees of the Lord who are described. First canto, second canto, third canto, mostly devotees are described. Fourth canto, devotees. Fifth canto, mein Rishabdev aate hain. Fourth canto, mein Prithu Maharaj comes. Then fifth canto, तो हाँ भगवान कहाँ है उसमें ज्यादा डिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं आता है भगवान का डिवोटी है डिवोटी का डिस्क्रिप्शन है ऋषभ देव कम्स देयर फिफ्थ कैंटो सिक्स्थ कैंटो में अजा मिलाते हैं वृत्रासुर भी है सिक्स्थ कैंटो स्टार्ट्स विद अजामिल सो सिक्स्थ कैंटो में भी ज्यादा भगवान का डिस्क्रिप्शन नहीं है सेवेंथ कैंटो में नरसिंह देव कम्स एट्थ कैंटो में देन वामन देव एंड ऑल द अदर अवतार्स कम So prominently, Bhagavatam describes the glories of devotees more because that is more powerful. That's what we can relate to. ये अपने जीवन में कैसे भक्ति किए हैं. श्रुतस्य पुंसां सुचिराश्रमस्य नन्वञ्जसा सूर्यभिरीडितोऽर्थः तत्तद्गुणानो श्रवणं मुकुन्द पादारविन्दं हृदयेषु येषाम्. Shrutasya, if somebody wants to hear, after a great labor, if somebody is hearing from his guru, what he should hear from guru? He should hear about the glories of the devotee from the guru. Because Padar Vindam Hridayeshu Esham, because devotees have Krishna in their heart. So therefore, Swayambhuva Manu's dynasty is being described. So Swayambhuva Manu, he had 3 daughters. So Akuti, he handed over to a Brahmana named Prajapati Ruchi. And on one condition, just like Kapila Dev, when Swayambhu Manu married her daughter Devahuti to Kardamuni, what is the condition Kardamuni had put? Anyone remembers before marrying her?
He's just till
the time she doesn't give birth to children, I'll be there. So similarly, Swayambhu Manu is making a deal with Ruchi. You will return your first son to me. Then only I'll marry my daughter to you. That is the deal. Why? It is said that a sonless person offers his daughter sometimes with a condition that the first son will be returned to him, so that he'll also have a son. And that is mentioned in Vedas as Putrika Dharma. But interesting thing is, Swayambhu Manu had 2 sons. Why he wanted another son? Because he knew that the son of Akuti and Ruchi will be the supreme personality of Godhead. Yagya. Yagya is the supreme personality of Godhead. So he wanted कि मेरा बेटा यज्ञ हो जाए. He wanted his son to be supreme Lord. So that's why he made a condition. And he married his daughter to Ruchi Prajapati. So Ruchi Prajapati is called as Brahma Varchasvi. The word used is Brahma Varchasvi, means he was very sincerely following Brahminical culture. Shamodama tapashaucham shantirarjavam evacha brahmacharyam ahimsa cha nahi. Jnanam vijnanam astikyam brahma karma swabhavacham. These are the qualities of a Brahmana mentioned in Bhagavad Gita. Tolerance, modesty, sense control, charitable, tapasya, all that. So Ruchi followed all these principles. He is called as Brahma Varchasvi. So interestingly, Ruchi and Akuti had 2 children. Not one. One was Yagya, and along with Yagya, another lady was born, and her name was Dakshina. So Ruchi was Yagya was a supreme lord. I think कुछ तो settings में गड़बड़ है नहीं? It's working. What is the temperature? Okay, take it. So Lakshmi, Dakshina was the expansion of the Lakshmi, and Yagya was the expansion of Supreme Lord himself. So we should not think, अरे ये तो अभी भगवान, they have appeared as brothers and sisters. So how is it possible? But when Supreme Lord appears in this world along with his consort, the material relationships don't matter. They have their eternal relationship as the husband and wife. They are the original husband and wife. Just like Prithu appeared with, when the body of Veena was churned, two personalities appeared. Prithu and Archi. So Archi is Lakshmi, expansion of Lakshmi Devi, and Prithu is the expansion of Lord. So Yagya and Dakshina, they appeared, and Manu became very happy because Manu thought, अरे पहला ही बेटा पैदा होगा and they would give to me. So now he is happy, चलो उनके पास एक और तो रहेगा. So he brought very happily Yagya to his home. And Prabhupada in the purport, he describes in detail about Yagya. Prabhupada, he always brings down the philosophical point. Yagya means what? Sacrifice. And by default, which verse he'll quote from Bhagavad Gita? Yagyarthat karmano anyatra lokoyam karma bandhana. That is a famous verse. All yagya should be done for the pleasure of the Lord. Otherwise, it binds one in this world. Lokoyam karma bandhana. So therefore, Prabhupada writes that Krishna is the Supreme Lord. He is the Bhokta. He is the enjoyer of all the sacrifices. Bhoktaram Yagya Tapasam. So later, this Yagya married Dakshina, and he begot 12 children. 12 children were born, and Prabhupada writes the ideal husband and wife are generally called as Lakshmi Narayan. And he quotes Chanakya Pandit. He says that if a husband and wife are satisfied, then goddess of fortune automatically comes. If both are satisfied, living happily, following the principles, keeping Krishna in the center, for sure, goddess of fortune will come. According to Vedic civilization, wife is trained to be satisfied in all conditions, and the husband is required to please the wife with sufficient food, ornaments, and clothing. So both are important. Wife should be satisfied, and husband should not be satisfied with whatever you have. He should give all the good clothes, ornaments, and sufficient good food. So 12 sons were born. So in this we can see the story of Uttanpad and Suruchi and Suniti comes in the 8 to 31st chapters, and along with his dynasty and all that. So Priyavrat is described in 5th canto, and the dynasty of Priyavrat is described in 5th canto. So these 12 sons, they are together called as Tushitas. उनका सबका एक कलेक्टिव नाम है, ग्रुप का नाम है तुशितस. जैसे दक्ष के जो 10,000, they were called as Haryashvas, 10,000 sons, and then 1,000 more, they were called as Shavalasvas. So they are called as a group. So these 12 people, their names are also given: Tosha, Pratosha, Santosha, Bhadra, Shanti, all that. 12 naam hai. And then this is a very important thing. In every will recite this verse: Manvantaram Manurdeva Manuputra Sureshwaraha Rishayo Amshaavatarascha Hare Shadvidhamuchyate. So in every Manvantar, the Lord appears in 6 forms to rule the entire Bhumandal, the entire universe. So 6 personalities, they appear. Manvantar, and in every Manvantar, Manu. Manu is the predominating, the controlling king, Manu. And Deva, the Devatas, Manuputra, the sons of Manu, Sureshwara, Sureshwar is Indra, Rishis, the great Rishis who are teaching, and Amsha In every Manvantar, there is an expansion of the Lord who appears. He is called as Amsha. So in the Swayambhu Manvantar, who are these 6 people? Manu is Swayambhu Manu. Currently, which Manvantar is going on? भैया no 7th तो चल रहा है ना, कोई भी चलने दो बेटा. 7th Manvantar. Who is the Manu? His name is Vaivaswat. भगवद गीता में भगवान बोलते हैं ना, इमं विवस्वते योगम. तो वो विवस्वत कौन है? वो सूर्य देव के पुत्र हैं, Vaivaswat. Vaivaswat means son of Vivaswan. Okay, and his name is Shraddhadev. उनका नाम श्राद्धदेव है. तो 8th canto में बहुत सारा description. So currently the Manu is Swayambhuva Manu and Manuputra, Priyavrat and Uttanpad. The Devtas, they are Tushitas. अभी बताया ना, the Dakshina and Ruchi. Dakshina and Yagya, they had 12 sons. They became the Devatas. And Indra is Yagya. So it happens that sometimes, when there is no one qualified to become the Indra, Supreme Lord himself becomes the Indra. He himself becomes Brahma. So whenever there is no one to rule, koi hai nahi qualified to kaun rule kare? So he himself becomes. So these are the 6 personalities.
Yagya is also Indra and Yagya is also Amshavatara Manu.
Yes. तो वही अंशावतार भी वही है, and he played the role of Indra. So that is how it is. Yagya became the Amshavatar and he played the role of Indra also. So Swayambhu Manu.
Difference in Manvantar incarnation matlab
in every Manvantar, the avatars of the Lord come, and suppose by chance there is nobody to rule the king Indra, heaven, so he does the job of Indra also. Multitasking karte Bhagwan. Okay, so then Maitreya continues that Swayambhu Manu handed over his daughter Prasuti to Daksha, and the descendants of Daksha are spread throughout the world. So then he doesn't describe the dynasty of Prasuti, because the dynasty of Prasuti is huge. Before that, he describes the dynasty of Devahuti. So Devahuti, she had nine daughters and 1 son. So this is picture from अपना सुबोधनी का ही मैंने फोटो निकाल के इसमें डाल दिया है. So the first daughter is Kala, and Kala had two children, Kashyap and Purnima. Kashyap, we know, the famous Kashyap Muni, the husband of Diti and Aditi. So his descendants will be described in the 6th canto. तो यहाँ पे केवल पूर्णिमा के descendants बताए यहाँ पे. So Purnima had 2 sons, Viraj, Vishwaga, and 1 daughter, Devakulya. Who was Devakulya?
Ganga.
She was Ganga. Ganga की presiding deity जो है वो है Devakulya. She is the daughter of Marichi and Kala. And then there was another great personality, Anusuya, and she was married to whom? Atri. And she gave birth to 3 great personalities, Somdev, Dattatreya, and Durvasa Muni. So in this, the word used is Atmesha Brahma Sambhavan. So Atma is Vishnu, Isha is Shiva, and Brahma is Brahma. So this Dattatreya is the avatar of the Lord. And Somadev and Durvasa, they are the portions of, they are the, they are the partial representations of Shivji and Brahmaji. But Dattatreya is avatar. So that is the difference which is described here. And Prabhupada in the purport describes in detail what is a Vibhinnamsha and what is Swamsha. Vibhinnamsha means the separated portions of the Lord, they are all jivas. All of us are vibhinna amsha. Swa amsha means the avatars of the Lord. They are called as Swa amsha. So Prabhupada writes some details about that, and he tells that Krishna has 100% powers. So Vishnu has how much? कितने qualities हैं जो विष्णु में नहीं है? Powers नहीं, qualities.
60.
So it comes to 94%. Huh? So Krishna has 64 prominent qualities, Vishnu has 60, and Shivji has 55, and Brahmaji has 50. So it comes to 100, then 94, then 85, and 78. So Brahmaji has 78% percentage wise. So which are the qualities of Krishna which Vishnu doesn't have? 4 qualities.
Prema Madhuri, that is Lila Madhuri, Venu Madhuri, and Rupa Madhuri.
So these are the 4 qualities which Lord Vishnu doesn't have. They are less. What are the 5? What are the 5 qualities which Shiva doesn't have, Vishnu has? किसको मालूम? Okay. सदा स्वरूप संप्राप्त सर्वज्ञ नित्य नूतनः सच्चिदानंद. हम नीचे से शुरू करते हैं. 5 क्वालिटीज जो ब्रह्मा जी के पास नहीं है, जो शिव जी के पास है. शिव जी के पास कौन सी 5 क्वालिटी हैं जो ब्रह्मा जी के पास नहीं है? ब्रह्मा जी इज ऑर्डिनरी लिविंग एंटिटी. ऑर्डिनरी नहीं है, मतलब लिविंग एंटिटी है. नॉट ऑर्डिनरी लिविंग एंटिटी, मतलब आत्मा है.
ओम नमः शिवाय बोल देना. ओम नमः शिवाय बोल देना.
नहीं ओम नमः शिवाय ब्रह्मा जी के बारे में बोल रहा हूँ मैं. So Lord Shiva has 5 qualities which Brahmaji doesn't have. Sada Swarupa Samprapta. He is always situated in his position. He never falls down. Sarvagya. He is omniscient. Sada Swarupa Samprapta Sarvagya. Nitya Nutana. He is always youthful. You'll never see a picture of Shiva old. बनाते हैं तो गलत है. Satchidananda Sandranga. He is also Satchidananda, like Krishna. Sarva Siddhini Shevata. He has all the mystic siddhis. These are the 5 qualities of Lord Shiva. Swarupa Samprapta is always situated in his position, constitutional position. He never falls down. So, अभी विष्णु में 5 कौन से हैं जो शिवजी में नहीं है? अविचिन्त्य महाशक्ति. He has inconceivable potencies. What are the inconceivable potencies of Vishnu? तदैजति तन्नैजति तददूरे तदवंतिके तदंतरस्य सर्वस्य तदु सर्वस्यास्य बाह्यतः. समझ गए ना? ईशोपनिषद है. इनसाइड, आउटसाइड, फार, नियर. तो अविचिन्त्य महाशक्ति. कोटि ब्रह्मांड विग्रह. सब ब्रह्मांड कहाँ से आ रहे हैं? विष्णु से आ रहे हैं. अवतारावली बीजम. सब अवतार कहाँ से आ रहे हैं? विष्णु से आ रहे हैं. हतारी गतदायक. जिसको भी मारते हैं उसको मुक्ति मिल जाती है. आत्माराम गण आकर्षति. इवन आत्माराम get attracted to Vishnu. So Prabhupada writes about some things, these things. So then, after describing, 15th verse says that, okay, Anusuya got married to Atri. And they had 3 sons, powerful sons. So Vidurji had a question. ऐसा कैसे हो गया? How 3 great personalities became their sons? Vidura uvacha. अत्रेर्गृहे सुरश्रेष्ठा स्थिति उत्पत्त्यन्त हेतवः किंचित् चिकीर्षवो जाता एतदाख्याहि मे गुरो. अत्रेर्गृहे, अत्रि के घर में सुरश्रेष्ठा, the controllers of the universe, how they appeared? स्थिति, उत्पत्ति, अंत. Creation, maintenance, annihilation. ये तीनों के देवता, how they appeared in the house of Atri as their children. किंचित चिकीर्षवो. I am curious to know. Please tell me, O Maitreya Muni, O my spiritual master. So Maitreya Muni, he starts answering that once. Okay, we'll recite this. Maitreya uvacha. ब्रह्मणा चोदिता सृष्टा अत्रिर्ब्रह्म विदां वरः सह पत्न्या यया वृक्षं कुलाद्रिं तपसि स्थितः. So Atri went to a mountain known as Riksha mountain with his wife Anusuya to perform severe austerities, and they went to a place where Kuladri Tapasi Sthitaha. There is a place in Kuladri, there is a mountain, Riksha mountain, and there a river flows, that is the river Nirvindya. And there Atri Muni performed intense tapasya, controlling his breath, standing on one leg. He was doing it for 100 years. And Atri, and he was not eating anything, just breathing. 100 साल तक एक पांव पे खड़े होके खाली, that's it. So as he is worshipping, meditating on the Lord, what he is thinking, that is very important. Sharanam tam prapadyeham yad yaeva jagadishwarah prajam atma samam mahyam prayachattviti chintayan sharanam tam prapadye. Tam मतलब उनका, किनका वो मालूम नहीं. Really, he doesn't know. That's why he is saying Sharanam tam prapadye. O Lord of the universe, who is Jagadishwara, I am taking your shelter. Who is that Jagadishwara? I don't know. कोई तो है जगदीश्वर. Prabhupada writes, he knew that there is some controller, but कौन है वो controller वो मालूम नहीं है. How is this possible? ब्रह्मा जी के बेटे कैसे नहीं मालूम वो पता नहीं, you know, but he is not sure who is the controller. जगदीश्वर कौन है? So therefore he is making a general request, just like if somebody writes a letter to a superintendent of police without knowing who is he, like to the superintendent, नाम मालूम नहीं है, whoever he is उसको लिख दिए हैं, whoever may concern नहीं. सुपरिटेंडेंट को ही लिख रहे हैं लेकिन नाम मालूम नहीं है. लेकिन इस केस में थोड़ा गड़बड़ हो जाता है, you know. When he says whoever is the supreme lord, जगदीश्वर जो भी हैं उनकी पूजा कर रहा हूं मैं. प्रजाम क्या चाहिए मेरे को? प्रजा, I want a son. आत्म समम, like you. I want a son exactly like you. प्रयच्छत्व, please offer to me. Iti chintayan, that's what he was thinking. So Prabhupada writes that Atri had no specific idea of the Supreme Lord. He knew that there is a Supreme Lord, but he was not sure who is he. That is a rarity of what we have. भगवान कौन है? कृष्ण is Supreme Lord. ये एकदम आसानी से मिल गया हमको. ये बड़े बड़े अत्रि मुनि को भी नहीं मालूम भगवान कौन है. And we have received this so casually. हाँ भाई, first day, you know, when Prabhupada was initiating in the beginning, आजकल आईडीसी 3 दिन का होता है, you know. उस समय का आईडीसी, one boy came and said, I want to take initiation. Okay, you have to answer 2 questions. Who is Supreme Lord? Krishna is the Supreme Lord. Okay. Second question, who are you? I am servant of Krishna. Okay, pass. तो ये आईडीसी हो गया, you know. So this is a very very rare knowledge कि भाई भगवान कृष्ण है. We have received it so easily, casually, just by being here. But Atri Muni didn't know who is Supreme Lord. बताइए अभी किसको क्या बोलेंगे? That's why Kali Yuga is so very special. The highest is available to the lowest freely. That is the mercy of Mahaprabhu.
No, these scriptures were that time also, no? Because
it was not clear. Vedas are like a jackfruit tree बोलते हैं ना, उसमें से मेन चीज निकालना मतलब बहुत मेहनत वाला काम है. That's why अभी आप हम लोग इस्कॉन में आके इतना बड़ा बड़ा बोल रहे हैं. बाहर जाके पूछो भगवान कौन? सब भगवान है, किसी की भी पूजा करो. मंडे शिव जी, ट्यूसडे गणपति, वेडनेसडे विष्णु, थर्सडे साईं बाबा, फ्राइडे संतोषी माँ, सैटरडे शनि दर्शन और संडे को दूरदर्शन, यू नो. तो ये तो नॉलेज है लोगों का. Nobody knows. वो है ना स्टोरी प्रभुपाद का, प्रभुपाद is sitting with all the big sadhus और बोलते हैं भगवान कौन है, स्वामी जी इसके लिए सब वेद पढ़ने पड़ेंगे तब जाके पता चलेगा. तो प्रभुपाद he called one Gurukul boy and there was a jar of gulab jamun kept and he put his hand on the jar. तो बच्चा भी समझदार समझ गया आंसर देंगे तो गुलाब जामुन मिलेगा. So yes, who is God? Krishna is the supreme personality of Godhead. तो गुलाब जामुन दिए चला गया बच्चा. प्रभुपाद बोलते हैं अरे हमारी संस्था में बच्चा भी जानता है भगवान कौन है. तो ये नॉलेज इतना आसान नहीं है. वॉट एवर वी आर रिसीविंग it is mercy of Mahaprabhu, it is mercy of Prabhupada. He has brought this prema phala, you know. In the first canto there is 9 chapter में है वो चैतन्य वृक्ष कल्प वृक्ष भक्ति कल्प वृक्ष श्री चैतन्य मालाकार पृथ्वी ते आनी भक्ति कल्प तरु रोपिला सिंची इच्छा पानी. He is watering this tree of devotional service by his own desire. And he is thinking, I have so many fruits. एकल मालाकारामी कहाँ याब एकलाव कथफल पड़िया विलाप अरे किधर बांटूंगा कितना आगे ले, you know, please help me. So that is what is Mahaprabhu doing. फिर भी people's bargain, बोले फ्री में दे रहे हैं. विलाय चैतन्य माली नाही लय मूल. He is not taking anything. Kaviraj Goswami says, even if you sell all the 3 worlds, you will not be able to pay for 1 fruit. Mahaprabhu is giving freely. फिर भी बोलते हैं नहीं नहीं फ्री में दे रहा है कुछ तो गड़बड़ होगा. ऐसा कैसे? So this is a example. मतलब अत्रि मुनि को मालूम ही नहीं है भगवान कौन है. कोई तो है. So Prabhupada writes, if he had desired the Supreme Lord as his child, now you know, very subtle thing. He desired a son like Supreme Lord. He didn't want Supreme Lord as his son. आपके जैसा एक बेटा चाहिए, आप नहीं चाहिए. Prabhupada writes, if you would have asked, I want you as a Supreme Lord, he would have become a pure devotee. But he wanted a son like Supreme Lord. So therefore, he is not a pure devotee. So Prabhupada writes that. You know, Gajendra was also offering prayers. वो भी ऐसा ही बोल रहे हैं ना. माद्रिक प्रपन्न पशुपाश विमोक्षनाय मुक्ताय भूरि करुणाय नमो लयाय. वो भी बोल रहे हैं, नाम ले ही नहीं रहे हैं उसमें. You know, whole prayers, all the prayers of Gajendra, there is no mention of the name. किसको बुला रहे हैं? It is all adjective. You are the Supreme Lord, Creator, Controller, you are Protector. But after he offered his prayers, in the end, what he says, oh my Lord, I don't want to be free of this crocodile. I want to be free from this material existence. Why? Because in the previous life, he did devotional service. So this knowledge is not so easy. So Gajendra says, Jijivishena hamihamoya kim antarbahishchavritaye bhayonya ichchami kalena nayasya viplavas tasyatma loka varnayasya moksham. Oh my Lord, I don't want to live now. Jijivishena aham. I don't want to live. I want to be free from this material body itself. Please cut off this ego, is ignorance, because time destroys everything. Time doesn't destroy ignorance. I want to be free from ignorance. So Atri Muni had no specific idea किसको बुला रहे हैं. तो he was calling Supreme Lord. तो तीनों आ गए. Brahma, Shiva and Vishnu, they all appeared. Interestingly, he was doing such an intense tapasya, fire started coming out of his head. Atri Muni's blazing fire. सब देवता परेशान हो रहे हैं, कहां से आग निकल रही है. So all the 3 deities, they came to the ashram of Atri Muni. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur writes that Vishnu as super soul perceived that, oh, this is coming from Atri Muni, and then he directed Brahma and Shiva also to come. So all 3 of them, they came. So that is the power of meditation, मतलब blazing fire. और ध्रुवा के बारे में भी आता है ना, he pushed the earth by his toes. That is the power. How is this possible? Prabhupada gives the example. One may run at the speed, if somebody runs individually, he may run at the speed of 15 kilometers per hour or whatever. But if he's sitting in the airplane, He is running at the same speed as the airplane. So if somebody has Lord in his heart, then he becomes equally powerful. So all these three deities, they appeared because all of them are Jagadishwara. Vasudeva is Jagadish. Even Shiva is also Jagadish. Even Brahma is also Jagadish. They are also controllers of the universe. So along with them, all the Devtas also came, Apsaras also came, because they don't come alone, right? Prime Minister is अकेले घूमते हुए दिखता है क्या? अकेले घूम रहा है Prime Minister? No. Whenever they come with their entourage. So in the fifth canto, there is a description of Nabhi, Priyavrat Maharaj's son Agnidhra. Agnidra's son Nabhi. Nabhi's son was Rishabdev. So Nabhi also wanted Supreme Lord as son. And Atri also wanted. But Nabhi was not in a confusion who is Supreme Lord. He knew who is Supreme Lord. And he rendered devotional service. That's how, although he had a material desire to have a son as a Supreme Lord, but after he got Supreme Lord as his son, he became purified of those material desires. He developed Vatsalya Bhav. So, and another thing is, this Dhruva Maharaj, he had material desire, and Atri had material desire. So what was the difference? Dhruva was guided by Narad Muni. Atri, there is no mention he is guided by some devotee.
But Atri he got it because Anasuya, his wife, she was very pure and they came to test her.
So that story is not in Bhagavatam. Bhagavatam's version is this. So it may have happened, other Puranas they mention it. इसके बाद हुआ होगा, all the three ladies, Parvati, and they became, envious. अरे इनका इतना सतीत्व कैसे है? So they wanted to test Anusuya. So that story is also there. So how these two are related? Maybe it happened after this story. They gave blessings and they left, and then how they appeared as sons, that is not mentioned in Bhagavatam. So now after, अभी इसको मालूम ही नहीं है, तो frankly पूछ लेते हैं, whom among you I have called by my prayer? आप ही बता दो. So Atri is asking, may I know whom have I called by my prayers? He offered his obeisance. He could understand. He saw, okay, ये इनके हाथ में डमरू है, ये शिवजी हैं, and he is on the bull, शिवजी हैं, and somebody is on the swan carrier, and he has a kamandul, that means he is Brahma, and somebody is on Garuda, and he has chakra, that means he is Vishnu. So he identified all of them. He offered them respects. Dandvat karke pranam kiya, just like in this picture, nicely painted. And he folded his palms and he started offering prayers. But in those prayers, he made some technical error. He says, "O Brahma, Shiva, and Vishnu, you have divided yourself into three bodies by accepting the modes." So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur says, "यहाँ पे गड़बड़ हो गया. Lord Vishnu never accepts the modes. He is beyond the modes. But he is not aware that he is beyond the modes, so therefore he offered prayers in a technically wrong way." So पूछने के बाद भी कोई बोल ही नहीं रहे. All of three are silent. So Atri clarified the statement. He said, "I called for the Supreme Personality and all three of you have come. So kindly let me know who among you are supreme." So then all these three deities, they smiled and they said, "Actually, all of us are supreme." Vishnu says, "I am also supreme." Brahmaji is also supreme. Shivji is also supreme. He is a supreme deity of annihilation, creation, and maintenance. They are all supreme. So, these three deities, they blessed. Okay, you wanted a son. You wanted son, therefore you have worshipped us. You will have son. You will have three sons. All of us will come as your son. So that's how three expansions, they appeared. Moon god was born from Brahmaji. He came as expansion of Brahma. Somdev. and from Shiva, Durvasa Muni, and from Vishnu, Dattatreya. So after describing Atri Muni, he goes on to describe the later other daughters' descendants. So we'll not go into the detail. This is the chart you can see. From 34th to 43rd, Maitreya Muni describes all the descendants of the daughters of Devahuti. So the names are given. And then इतना सा पढ़ के अपने को क्या मिलने वाला है, you know? So Maitreya Muni gives फलश्रुति also, भाई मिलेगा. इसमें अभी क्या क्वेश्चन है अभी? ये बहुत इंटरेस्टिंग पर्सनालिटीज है इसमें, मालूम है आपको? देख रहे हैं आप? विश्रवा, केशिनी, रावण है ना, उनके माता पिता हैं. You know, दिखे ना, विश्रवा एंड केशिनी gave birth to रावण, विश्रवा एंड इराविडा gave birth to कुबेरा, कुंभकर्ण. ये सब बड़े बड़े पर्सनालिटी सब इनसे ही पैदा हुए हैं. और ये लास्ट में जो है ख्याति gave married Bhrigu and gave birth to शुक्राचार्य also. One of the descendants is शुक्राचार्य. तो ऐसे सब बड़े बड़े लोग हैं. क्वेश्चन क्या था?
Why Prabhuji, okay, Vashishta Muni is also his, like,
अरुंधति मैरिड वशिष्ठ. तो वही तो फेमस है ना, वशिष्ठ अरुंधति. So these are the famous daughters and the descendants of Devahuti. Then Maitreya Muni, he tells, "Oh my dear Vidura, the population of the universe increased by the descendants of these sages and daughters of Kardam. Taite munaya shattar लोकान् सर्गैरभावयन् एष कर्दम दौहित्र संतान कथितस्तव शृण्वत श्रद्धानस्य सद्य पापहरः परः प्रसूतिं मानवीं दक्ष उपयेमे हि अजात्मजः Srinvata Shraddhadanasya, anyone who hears with faith this description of the dynasty, Sadhya Papahara, he becomes free from all the sinful reactions. Hari Bol. So after describing this, he says, now I'll describe the descendants of Prasuti. Prasuti was married to whom? Daksha. So Daksha married Prasuti and they had 16 daughters. 16 beautiful daughters were born. So out of those 16, 13 were given to Dharma, 1 to Agni, 1 to Pitas, and 1 to Lord Shiva. So this is a very, very interesting, story. So इसमें से 15 के children थे, एक के नहीं थे. So then Daksha and Sati episode started, and then ultimately Daksha was beheaded, and then a goat head was put. Then out of shame, wherever he was going, people were saying goat head, goat head. Goat head Daksha aa gaya. So he could not bear that shame. He gave up his body. So this is happening in which manvantar? कौन सा मनवंतर का स्टोरी चल रहा है? अरे पहला ही है ना भाई, स्वयंभुव मनु फर्स्ट मनवंतर. So in first मनवंतर अभी कौन सा मनवंतर है? 7th. इतना तो याद रहना चाहिए. In first
मनवंतर 28 चतुर्युग.
हाँ, 28th युगा साइकिल चल रहा है, उसमें कलयुगा चल रहा है. So in Swayambhu Manvantar, first Manvantar, Swayambhuva Manu ruled for half of that Manvantar, and in that duration he had 2 sons, Priyavrat, Uttanpad. Priyavrat said, I don't want to get married. He went to become a brahmachari. He was staying in the ashram of Narad Muni. So kaun bach gaya? Uttanpad. He became the king. And then in the family of Uttanpad, Prachin Barhi was born. There was a king, Prachin Barhi. उनके बेटे कौन थे? Prachetas. Prachetas married to whom? 9 Prachetas married to one lady. Her name was Marisha. And they gave birth to Daksha. ये पहले शरीर छोड़ दिया ना दक्षा ने, कहाँ गए वो? दोबारा पैदा हुए दक्षा के रूप में. He again took birth as Daksha in the first manvantar only. वही चल रहा है. So then Daksha went to do tapasya, because to beget children you had to do tapasya. He did tapasya for 5 manvantars. 5 मनवंतर तपस्या कर रहे हैं. फर्स्ट मनवंतर में चले गए तो दक्षा, तो अभी कोई है ही नहीं रूलिंग करने के लिए. अभी राजा राजा कहाँ है? सो स्वयंभू मनु ही वेंट टू प्रियव्रत. अभी ये कोई राजा नहीं है भाई, तुम ब्रह्मचारी बना हुआ, इधर कौन रूल करेगा? He brought him back and he made him the king. So ये फर्स्ट मनवंतर का ही चल रहा है. सो रिमेनिंग हाफ ऑफ द फर्स्ट मनवंतर प्रियव्रत रूल्ड. प्रियव्रत, उत्तानपाद का रूल तो फर्स्ट हाफ हो गया ना. सो उत्तानपाद तो रूल करके उनके डायनेस्टी में प्रचेता आ गए. प्रचेता के डिसेंडेंट दक्षा चले गए ये करने, तपस्या करने, तो कोई नहीं है, तो प्रियव्रत को बुला के लाए. फिर प्रियव्रत रूल्ड फॉर नेक्स्ट half, and then first manvantar got over. Second manvantara, Swarochisha, he became the Manu. Swarochisha was the son of Agni. तो he ruled for the second manvantar. तो अभी प्रियव्रत महाराज रूल्ड फॉर फर्स्ट मनवंतर. सेकंड मनवंतर ये अग्नि के बेटे ने रूल किया. थर्ड, फोर्थ, फिफ्थ मनवंतर they were ruled by the sons of Priyavrat. Third Manvantar was ruled by Uttam. Fourth by Tamas. Fifth by Raivat. ये सब प्रियव्रत के 3 बेटे हैं. They all live for long time. They all live for the whole entire Manvantar, entire day of Brahma. Sixth Manvantar, Daksha again came back. तपस्या करके Daksha came back. He married a lady called as Asikni. And then gave birth to 10,000 sons named as Harayashvas. तो नारद मुनि कॉलेज प्रीचिंग करके सबको ब्रह्मचारी बना दिए. तो होलसेल में. उसके बाद ब्रह्मा जी ये दक्षा बोले क्या है? अगेन ही begot 1,000 more. They were called as Shavalasvas. नारद मुनि सच्चा अमेजिंग पर्सन. वो जाके उनको बोले देखो बड़े भाई का फॉलो करना चाहिए ना. बड़े भाई क्या कर रहे हैं? ब्रह्मचारी. तो आप भी ब्रह्मचारी बन जाओ. तो 11,000 became ब्रह्मचारी. Daksha became so angry. He said अभी बेटा पैदा ही नहीं करूंगा. I'll beget daughters. तो गर्ल्स हॉस्टल में तो प्रीचिंग करेंगे नहीं नारद मुनि. He begot 60 daughters. So 60 daughters, they were married to all the various sages, and their descendants have filled the entire universe. तो उसमें दिति, अदिति, कद्रू, विनता ये सब जो आते हैं ना, all the reptiles, amphibians, ये वो ये जितने भी स्पीशी हैं सब उनसे ही आ रहे हैं. So that is how the story of दो दक्षा. पहले वाले दक्ष ने 16, फिर second daksha 60. Okay, so these 13 daughters, they were married to Dharma, and very interesting, Dharma से विवाह हो रहा है श्रद्धा का. So Vishnu Chakravarti Thakur writes, the daughters of Prasuti, they are the presiding deities of the Shaktis of Sattva-gun. तो इसलिए तो धर्म से विवाह उनका ही होगा ना, और किसका हो जाएगा विवाह धर्म से? सत्वगुण के शक्तियों का ही विवाह होगा. So when Shraddha gets married to Dharma, what gives birth? Very interesting. Children. Shubha. Auspiciousness takes birth when Shraddha gets married to Dharma. When Maitri gets married to Dharma, Prasad. When Daya gets married to Dharma, Abhay. Abhay होता है ना, दया है तो Abhay, no fear. Shanti gets married to Dharma, gives birth to Sukh. Very interesting. मतलब एक एक अच्छा अच्छा नाम है सब. Tushti gives birth to Muda, satisfaction. Pushti gives birth to Smaya. Now this is a very interesting thing. Smaya means enthusiastic to perform acts of dharma. That is called as Smaya. Kriya gives birth to Yoga. उन्नति, उन्नति से क्या होता है? वेरी इंटरेस्टिंग, दर्प। प्राइड कम्स व्हेन वन गेट्स उन्नति, प्रोग्रेस होता है तो उन्नति, दर्प पता है कि नहीं?
That was pride.
दर्प इज प्राइड। एंड उसके बाद बुद्धि गिव्स बर्थ टू अर्थ, बुद्धि लगाएंगे तो अर्थ मिलेगा ना। मेधा गिव्स बर्थ टू स्मृति, मेधा इज या। तितिक्षा, तितिक्षा मीन्स टॉलरेंस, टॉलरेंस गिव्स बर्थ टू क्षेम, वेल बीइंग। And re means shyness, gives birth to prashraya. Prashraya का मतलब I don't remember.
Smriti is what?
Smriti is memory. And very interesting, the last one, Murti was married to Dharma and gave birth to Naranarayan rishis, the great, the avatars of the Lord. Titiksha is tolerance. So when the Naranarayan rishis appeared, then all the devatas, because they are Supreme Lord himself, they appeared and they offered beautiful prayers. We'll not go into the details of those prayers. And after offering prayers, Supreme Lord heard those prayers, offered blessings to them. Adabra karunena vilokanena, he glanced their merciful glance. He put their merciful glance on all the devatas, and then he departed for doing tapasya, because that's why they have appeared. Narayan rishis, they have appeared for tapasya. So they went for Gandhamadan, they departed. And then he says, that same Narayan rishi appeared. Who is telling all this story? हाँ, तो विदुर जी बोलते हैं वही नर नारायण अभी अर्जुन और कृष्ण के रूप में आए हैं. So that's how he describes that. ये वाला गंधमादन अपना वाला नहीं है. There is a greater हिमालय जो है ना, ग्रेटर भारत और हिमालय, उसमें वो गंधमादन. So अभी 13 का हो गया. उसके बाद 14th is स्वाहा. बोलते हैं ना स्वाहा, क्यों बोलते हैं? वो अग्नि की वाइफ है. स्वाहा, स्वाहा was married to Agni, and Agni, स्वाहा माता जी, you know. So स्वाहा, स्वा बोलते हैं तो अग्नि का मुख खुलता है, you know, and हा मतलब you have to put it before it closes. नहीं तो बहुत बार तो हम लोग स्वाहा बोल दिया और बाद में डाल रहे हैं. इसलिए कलयुग में ये सब यज्ञ वज्ञ में, इसलिए यज्ञ संकीर्तन प्राय यजन्ति सुमेधसा, यज्ञ है संकीर्तन यज्ञ. So Swaha was married to Agni. They had 3 children, Pavaka, Pavaman and Shuchi. So total, so they gave birth to 45 sons. They were 45 sun gods. So total 49 हो गए ना. Agni, 3 उनके बेटे और ये 45. So these are all 49 fire gods. Then Swadha was married to Pitas, and they gave birth to 2 daughters, Vayuna and Dharani. And the last one is Sati. She was married to Lord Shiva and they had no children. So that is the end of this chapter. And this creates question in the mind of Vidurji. How is it that Sati had no child? Hare Krishna. So we'll stop here. Thank you very much. La Prabhupada ki jai. Granthra Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Any questions? Any one question? Okay, thank you very much. Hare Krishna. Shila Prabhupada ki jai.